Happy Tuesday morning on this really nice spring day, right, in Arizona. So 60 degrees, I think, right now. So who can complain for that as far as the morning to come out? I'm Scott Butler. I have the pleasure of serving as the Assistant City Manager for the city, overseeing our public safety departments. And I'm also have the pleasure of serving as your MC today. But we're gathered here today and to honor the memory of those who sacrificed their lives in service of our community. So I would ask the crowd to please rise for the posting of the colors by the Mesa Fire and Medical Honor Guard and pipes and drums. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now I'd like to invite up the chaplain for the Mesa Fire and Medical Department, Chaplain David Vernon.
Welcome, friends. Will you join me in prayer? Almighty God, we remember before you this day those members of the Mesa Fire and Medical Department who have died while serving our community. We pray the cherished memories that well up in our hearts may now become a source of inspiration to us, that we may serve in our day as well as they served in their day. And as we go from this gathering and from this celebration back to our work and our homes, we pray that we may give to our communities the same high devotion to duty, the same contribution of ourselves to the welfare of life that they gave, that we may build in this time a heritage worthy to be handed to those generations yet to come. It is in thy name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain. Before we recognize our first speaker, City Manager Chris Brady, I want to take a moment to thank the members of our City Council that have joined us today. You'll be hearing later from a couple, both the Mayor and Council Member Freeman, but I do want to recognize Vice Mayor Heredia, Council Member Goforth, Council Member Spilsbury, Council Member Duff, and Council Member Summers, who have all joined us today. So thank you, members of the council, for being here. And as I said, we will be hearing shortly from the mayor and Councilmember Freeman, but I wanted to just take a moment and recognize certainly the contribution that Councilmember Mark Freeman's made to this event today. This has been an issue that he has been passionate about. I had the luxury of being able to travel with Councilmember Freeman to Colorado Springs for the IAFF Fallen Firefighter Memorial earlier, and I see the Madrid family here, and so we certainly recognize the great contributions that all of our fallen firefighters have made to this community. But this has been something that Councilmember Freeman has been passionate about recognizing here locally in our community. So I just wanted to thank him for his efforts, and today's ceremony is certainly something that he is glad to see us start a great tradition here in Mesa and move the recognition of our community heroes forward. So with that, let me introduce my boss, our city manager, Chris Brady, to offer some remarks.
A pleasure to be here. Thank you, Scott, for that introduction. This is a moment that I think we should all recognize the opportunity to come together at this moment and to be able to celebrate the great sacrifice of many others. It's an honor to be here gathered with family and friends of Mesa fallen heroes, our active duty firefighters, retirees, and here we're at this location where we kind of we consider the end for others, for the lives of some, but also the beginning of the opportunity here to make this memorial going forward. This morning I had the opportunity to meet with the new fire recruit class. It was only their second day on the job. And I thought, as I met with them this morning, what a contrast that was on being either end of a group that was beginning their careers and had all kinds of imaginations about what their life would be as a firefighter going forward, and full of hope and aspiration to do great things in our community. And I challenge them, like we do for all our employees, that as you take on the role of being a public servant, it's very different than it is in many other vocations and professions, because you're here to serve and to make a difference in our community. And certainly those that work here to recognize today at this memorial made the ultimate sacrifice and made obviously a significant difference, not only in the lives of their family members, but in the community. For the city of Mesa, we have core values. We call it the Mesa Way. They're our employee values. We've had them around for many, many years. They were developed and created by our employees, and they continue today, and I'll just share those with you because I think they communicate, again, the service, the sacrifice that public servants make. As City of Mesa employees, the Mesa Way includes the value of knowledge, the value of respect, and integrity. And we hope that we continue to exemplify that as city employees in everything we do. We recognize certainly that in our public safety personnel, that example is very obvious and at times very difficult. And sometimes it requires them to put their life ahead of others in their service. And we acknowledge and respect that and understand what a great sacrifice that is, not only for them, but for the family members that they've left behind. We are excited for the future of this location as the Mesa Fallen Firefighter Memorial and Park. We look forward to working with several partners to bring this about: the Mesa Chamber of Commerce, the Mesa Public Safety Foundation, the United Mesa Firefighters 2260, Core Construction, Perlman Architects of Arizona. They're all committed to making this a significant place where we can continue to come together and recognize the commitment and legacy of those who've gone before us. We're again appreciative of the family members who are here, and we look forward to making this a permanent memorial to recognize the lives of those behind me. At this time, I'd like to invite up our Fire Chief, Mary Camelli.
Good morning, everybody. It's nice to see you here, and this is your event. This is for you. In addition to the folks that Mr. Brady thanked, I'd like to thank Mr. Brady and Scott Butler. Their support for this memorial and this park has been overwhelming, so we thank you for that. And I, too, want to thank the Mayor and Council for their ongoing support for the fire department and for this as well. And as Mr. Brady said, Mark Freeman. Also, a few other folks I would like to recognize is we have two previous fire chiefs here. Chief Dennis Compton and his wife Cher are here, as well as Chief Harry Beck and his wife Becky are here for you as well. I want to thank Chief Cost and the many police, the men and women out here that are here today. We truly appreciate your support. We have an amazing police department. We are so grateful that we have a great relationship with our men and women on the police department too. And you can feel safe in the city of Mesa because they do a great job every day. And also thank the departments that are here to represent your department here in the city of Mesa, and the men and women on the Mesa Fire Department who are here today, active and retired, here to support you as well for this day. I want to start by, I'd like to acknowledge each family that's here, because I think it's important. Those that are here may have known your loved one and want to come speak to you or say a word to you. You might learn something new that they tell you about your loved one that they did on a call or something, if they know where you are. I'm going to say the name, and if you would just raise your hand to acknowledge if you're here for this family member. The family of Dave Karam. Anyone here for the family of Dave Karam? Chuck Inman, Tim Raw, and Craig Chinnery. I'm saying both the active duty and line of duty, and now the line of duty. John Owens, Winston West, Jack Stevens, Gary Peters, Carl Shoemaker. Thank you, nice to see you all. John Delaney, thank you all in the back there. John Jane's family, all up front. Nikki Sullivan, and Trevor Madrid. I want to thank you all for being here for this moment and this memorial. I was very fortunate to have known almost every one of these folks on the wall, with the exception of the two line of duty deaths in 1947. But I personally knew these men and this woman, and they made our lives better. And that's why this is so meaningful to me. And I know that Councilmember Freeman and many of our members out there also knew most, if not all, of the members on this wall and know them personally. So I just want you to know they live in our hearts always, and this day is yours. This is your memorial. It's really a place for us to gather and gives us the opportunity to stand beside you when we are reflecting on their lives and we're reflecting on the memory of what they've done, and also a time for us to talk about them and to share stories about them, to pass it on to the next generation. And I could tell you that that happens today. So many times you talk to a new firefighter and they said, I never met that person, but I've heard many stories about them. Now, whether the stories are true, accurate, that's up to be for discussion, but it is really nice that the younger generation knows of your loved ones because of the stories that are passed on. And it's always very good and positive, so you should know that as well. They served our community as true professionals, and they really, each and every day, and those they encountered, they lived the mission, and that was to serve with care, compassion, accountability, respect, and excellence. And that's why this day is dedicated to them, because they lived that mission when they were here, and really they made our lives more meaningful during that time. Each of them has a very special place in our hearts, and made us better people. As you all know, being a member of the fire department means you are now a member and has always been a member of the fire department family. Because I know each of you lived through numerous stories from the fire station, from crews they worked with, calls they've been on. So you too have lived this life with us when your loved ones shared all those stories with you every day they got off shift. So why I say that is because I just want you to know that you are still and will always be part of the Mesa Fire and Medical family. That never stops. Once part of our family, you are always part of our family. Today is also a reminder for us on really how precious life is. And no one's guaranteed tomorrow. It's just a reminder to us to really live each day to the fullest as you go through your daily routines, and always remember to treat each other with kindness and grace as you go through your daily actions. Do our part each and every day, really to carry on their legacy, to make this world a better place for everyone, just as they did. Thank you so much for coming and supporting the families and our fallen brothers and sisters, and may God bless you all. Thank you. I now would like to call up to the podium one of our own family members, retired fire captain paramedic, and currently District 1 Councilmember Mark Freeman.
Isn't she great? Chief Camilli, she does an awesome job. Thank you for your leadership in our fire service, and thank you to all the public safety personnel out there. It just brings joy to my heart to see all of you there, but more especially our family members, so I want you to know that. This is a special time, and I know I have a script, but regardless, we've come together this morning to pay tribute to the courageous firefighters who made the ultimate sacrifice for our city, who exemplified true compassion by giving their lives for others while serving our community. Their sacrifice and dedication will always be remembered. As a retired fire guy, I've been able to know, has been mentioned, 7 of the 9 deceased firefighters behind us. I can also attest to the great highs and lows of this profession. It's environments in which firefighters work and often overlooked, but we openly discuss our challenges because as a community, we're here to support one another. I'd like to take a moment and discuss the topic cancer. It is important that we not only gather here to honor our fallen heroes, but also raise awareness about the connection between firefighting and cancer. We must also recognize the unique risks and challenges that they have and face in their line of work. While firefighters selfishly put their lives on the line to protect us, they also face occupational hazards that can have a long-lasting effect on their health. Exposures to harmful toxins and carcinogens during firefighting operations significantly increase their risks of developing cancers. It is our duty to ensure that our brave firefighters have the necessary resources, support, and protective measures to safeguard their health and well-being. I'm proud of the City of Mesa and its labor unions for their commitment to improving the firefighter health and safety. It is not enough to simply acknowledge the risks they face. We must act, and Mesa has been at the forefront of supporting cancer screenings, research funding, clean rooms, electric fire trucks, and advocating for better protective measures. We will never forget the moments as we shared together and the laughter we enjoyed both on and off duty, that their bravery in the face of adversity and will be cherished forever. I want to again thank each of you for being here, especially the families. It's so important that we take this opportunity to remember what has happened in our community and also in your families and how you've been affected. Although our fallen firefighters are not physically with us today, I believe they are at peace knowing their community, their brothers and sisters of the fire service, and other public safety personnel are here to support them and their families. Thank you. I'd like to now introduce our great mayor, John Giles.
You know, I'm fond of saying that in the city of Mesa, we stand on the shoulders of giants that have come before us. And that's true all over our city. I mean, I can't take you I can take you to not a street corner or a building or a school or a city facility of any kind and not share with you the history of how that came to be. And I think a lot of people that come here or without an appreciation for our history think that sometimes things just happen spontaneously. But that's those of us with the little gray hair know better than that, don't we? We are the beneficiaries of those that have come before us, that have paid, that were just as dedicated to this community and just as driven by a calling to serve their fellow man as we are, maybe more so. And I think that principle is no more obvious than right here today. I'm grateful for the leadership of the Mesa Fire Department, past and current. They are amazing people. We've had, it's been talked about the family that is the Mesa Fire Department. Those of us that have been to any type of a memorial service for a firefighter, I mean, that's the biggest family reunion I think I've ever been to. And that same spirit is present with us today. So I want you to know that we as a community are committed to celebrating that. And this place is going to be it already is, but it's even more so going to become sacred ground in our community where we celebrate the sacrifices of those that have come before us, and we acknowledge that a good community doesn't just happen. A safe community doesn't just happen. It's built on the sacrifice of other people. So thank you very much for your service. Thank you to the families that are every bit a part of this broader Mesa Fire Department family as those who get on and off the trucks. I want to especially thank Chief Camelli and Councilmember Freeman and Councilmember Summers, who have a far deeper appreciation for the sacrifices that are a part of being a firefighter than I could ever know. I think we can all agree that it takes a special kind of person to sign up for this job. This is not a job. This is a calling. This is something that when you raise your hand to the square to become a firefighter, you take on a larger obligation than other city employees do. And that exposes you to greater threats, obviously, as well. To do this kind of a job day in and day out with such distinction and professionalism is, to say that it's admirable is really an understatement. And again, we want to recognize the risk and sacrifice our fire and medical personnel face every day. It's important that we occasionally pause and and acknowledge that and express our appreciation. I'm sure many of you here today understand that when you or a loved one joins the Mesa Fire and Medical Department, it's a commitment above and beyond anything that we ask of other people. And again, it is, you're adopted into our broader family. When we talk about risk and sacrifice, we have to acknowledge the families, again, of those who play a role in public safety. Family members know the great risk and responsibility that their loved ones take as they pursue this career. Many times you're the ones that are left behind to sit in these chairs as we reflect on that great sacrifice. So again, to those of you that are here today, on behalf of our very grateful community, I want to express our love and appreciation and our ongoing commitment to keep your loved ones alive in the hearts and minds of our community. So thank you again, and I look forward to joining you in future years as this facility reflects even more so the love and admiration that we have for you and your fallen firefighters. Thank you.
We will now present the names of those we have lost in the line of duty. These members died from occupational-related situations that are recognized as a line of duty death. John Owens, end of watch, February 11th, 1947. Winston West, end of watch, February 11th, 1947. Jack Stevens, end of watch, June 30th, 1986. Gary Peters, end of watch, September 28th, 1987. Carl Shoemaker, end of watch, February 7th, 2001. John Delaney, end of watch, March 17th, 2008. John Jane, end of watch, July 20th, 2014. Nikki Sullivan, end of watch, April 3rd, 2019. Trevor Madrid, end of watch, November 14th, 2021. The tradition of the last alarm. The sounding of the bell is a tradition in the fire service. In the past, as firefighters began their tour of duty, it was the bell that signaled the beginning of that day's shift. Throughout the day and night, each alarm was sounded by the bell, which summoned these brave men and women to fight fires and place their lives on the line for the good of their fellow residents. When the fire was out and alarm had come to an end, it was the bell that signaled the completion of that call. When a firefighter had died in the line of duty, it was the toll of the bell that solemnly announced a comrade's passing. 3 rings, 3 times each. And so to those who have selflessly given their lives for the good of their fellow man, their task completed, their duties well done, we will again sound their last alarm. They have gone home. We would also like to acknowledge additional members of our department that passed away while employed by the department. Let's take a moment to recognize their service to the department and the residents of Mesa. Dave Karam, Chuck Inman, Tim Raw, Craig Chenery.
Just want to say thank you again to our Fire and Medical Honor Guard. They do a fantastic job of representing the department in the entire city. It's something that we are very proud of anytime they perform throughout the community. So thank you for that. Now I'd like to call up a group and partners that we work very closely with here at the city, and that's the representatives from IAFF Local 2260, and that is Scott Figgins and Trevin Crosser.
First, welcome families, friends, and loved ones of our fallen. This memorial is yours. This is why we're here today. So thank you all for being here today. Also, as Mr. Butler said, thank you to our amazing honor guard. I don't know if you are aware of this, but this is our first honor guard in the state of Arizona. And it was actually because of one of our loved ones that we lost, Chuck Inman. That is why we established this honor guard. And I also have to give thanks to those individuals that are part of our Mesa Fire Honor Guard who actually aren't part of Mesa Fire Department. So we actually have volunteers there that make up that. They are second to none, truly. My name is Scott Figgins, and I have the honor of serving as a president for United Mesa Firefighters Local 2260. Here with me is our Executive Vice President and Mesa Chapter President, Trevin Crosser. As you have already heard, none of this would be possible without the commitment and support of so many individuals, yourselves included. But let us not forget that we are also here because of the dedication of our firefighters. Firefighters who serve heroically with courage, pride, and honor. Firefighters who lay down their lives in the service of others. And that's the oath we take, to put service before self. This sacrifice is the cornerstone of our profession, and sometimes it comes with great personal loss. And so we gather together to forever honor our fallen brothers and sisters, our friends, our loved ones, to celebrate their lives, to remember their sacrifice. If you guys look at the boards over here, if you haven't had the opportunity, please take a look at the renderings of what this memorial will ultimately look like. That proposed memorial that you see, it might be hard to depict in some of them, but we have a center of bricks here that's red. That's going to be redone. And in the center of that is going to have a Maltese cross. The Maltese cross is a long-standing fire service symbol representing courage, compassion, and bravery. Surrounding the Maltese cross, as you can see, it's going to be a ring with red bricks. In these bricks will be etched messages and names of those who have committed to honoring your loved ones by helping to construct this site, one brick at a time. This memorial will truly be a gathering place for the community to pay tribute to the brave men and women of Mesa Fire Medical Department, for family and friends to come together to honor your loved ones, and for firefighters of the past, present, and future to ensure that the names added to this wall behind me and the sacrifices that they made will never be forgotten.
The Firefighter's Prayer. When I am called to duty, God, whenever flames may rage, give me the strength to save a life, whatever be their age. Help me to embrace a little child before it is too late, or save an older person from the horror of that fate. Enable me to be alert and hear the weakest shout, and quickly and efficiently put the fire out. I want to feel my calling and give the best in me to help my neighbor and their family. And if according to your will, my earthly tasks must end, please bless with your protecting hand my family and my friends. God bless our first responders, God bless our firefighters, and God bless our fallen.
Thank you, gentlemen. We really appreciate the partnership and the strong ties that we have between the labor organizations in the city. So for our closing speaker today, it's my honor to introduce someone who's no stranger to most of us here today, and that's former Fire Chief Harry Beck. Now, we'll forgive the start of his career since that was at the city of Phoenix, but he's a Mesa boy now for his years of service in his capacity as chief. And I see former city manager Mike Hutchinson is here. Mike, good job in hiring this guy away from Phoenix back in 2003. But before that, in his time at the city of Phoenix, Chief Beck rose to the position of deputy chief before retiring from Phoenix and coming to Mesa. One of the things that really struck me, I've known Harry now for a lot of years. We started just a few months apart at the city, but as I was reading through his background and bio, one of the things that Chief Beck really embraced was the fact that we need firefighters who are both strong physically and mentally in order to do their jobs. And so as a city, we can get as many trucks and stations and other things, but if we're not taking care of our firefighters with their mental health, with their physical health, making sure that they're staying healthy, then we haven't accomplished what we need to do as an organization. And so Chief Beck really embraced that, and he was on the cutting edge of dealing with improved services for PTSD awareness, stress and addiction awareness, resiliency training, all of those things that he fought for to bring into our department and to get additional grants and resources to help support that. But the chief certainly had a distinguished career, and he was recognized by his peers for that. In 2016, he was named the International Association of Fire Chiefs Chief of the Year, and that goes along with many of the other community accolades and regional awards that the chief received over his time. So please join me in welcoming former Fire Chief Harry Beck.
Good morning. Sun feels good, doesn't it? I too have a prepared script for some of the things I want to say, but just let me say that not only is this a day to honor the contributions and the actual people who your loved ones were, but this is also a day where we can recognize what the contribution was that they gave to you, to us. It's something that never dies. It stays with us all the time. Now, I'm a member of a very large family that my father was born here in the state of Arizona, and I'm proud to say that about a dozen of my relatives have been firefighters in this valley over the years. And I also am the uncle of a fallen firefighter, Brian Beck, who was at Phoenix Fire. So I'm here with you. I feel what you're going through. This guy was a great kid, mid-30s, 2 young children under 10 years old. And it is a very emotional process for me to go and talk about the safety of firefighters and how important it is for everybody, but mostly for those who are here today. Let me start by saying thank you for the introduction, and it is a real honor to be given the opportunity to speak to you all today. Mayor and council members, Chief Camelli, thank you so much for this. It's a privilege for me to be here with you. Our firefighters gave their lives for the sake of the safety and security of the citizens of Mesa. We also owe an eternal debt to their family and their friends and their loved ones. For they also paid the ultimate sacrifice in the process of losing their firefighter. I am extremely sorry for your loss. Words cannot, as you know, words cannot express the feeling of loss that you have. Over the years, though, significant progress has been made in dealing with life-threatening hazards for firefighters. However, the developing world around us is continuously changing and presenting new challenges. So it's a process. It's something that we have to continue to work at. Some of the council members' comments and the mayor's comments hit right on it. We're still looking at cancer. You know, when I started as a firefighter, no one talked about cancer as a job hazard. Okay, now I won't tell you how long ago that was, but you can probably guess by all this gray hair. But still, you know, that was an emerging crisis for us. Mental health became a much higher level of awareness as the members came home from Vietnam War and were suffering PST, post-traumatic stress disorder, as a result of their exposure to some of the things that they were witnessing. And it kind of opened our eyes to, wow, what about our firefighters? And, you know, they don't say anything. You wouldn't want to say anything. But I can tell you from experience, going back to the station with 3 other crew members and staying up the rest of the night drinking coffee after watching a child suicide or something like that was very therapeutic and is the way we as a fire service survive. So it's so important that as crews that we maintain that connection, the ability to talk about real life things with each other, because that system is probably the strongest and most important system to protect our behavioral health as we go into the future. Infectious disease presented itself when COVID presented. Guess what? There's a whole string of new infectious diseases coming that the research caused by COVID has brought to our awareness. So there's a brand new, relatively new hazard that you can't see, you can't touch, you can't smell. And if you have some physical aspects, we might be able to recognize and deal with those. But the parts that don't have those qualities are very, very challenging. And a lot of people don't know too that there are new hazardous materials on the road every day. The lithium batteries that run electric cars pose very serious hazards to firefighters, not only in the fire situation, but as a part of their ongoing health and welfare. So these are things that are in our industry are under research and development right now because of the threat that they pose. We as a community must remain vigilant and proactive. It is not okay to lose firefighters to on-the-job hazards of any kind, and we know that. We must continue to protect them, and it must continue to be our highest priority. I'm making this rather short, but finally, it is a comfort for us to remember, although the people we love pass away, they have made an indelible imprint on our lives. And we know they're with us in our heart and in our mind all the time, right? All the time. But they live on within you, within all of us. My advice is to take some time when it comes to mind, or your heart aches for it, is to simply talk to them, right? They're with us in some form or another. So talk to them about the need that you have for comfort. Ask them for help. And guess what? If they were your dad, or they were your mom, or they were your brother or sister or in-law, they know you and they can help you through your challenges in life in general. They're not with us, which is the tragedy that we all, I include myself in that, but that we all have to deal with as life goes on. And then finally, I would like to say that when you open your eyes and you feel their reply, right? How many of you have been there? Smile and thank them for what they gave you. And be aware and convinced that their loss was unacceptable. That we, as a community, I'm not just even talking about firefighters, council members, but as a community, need to do what's necessary to protect them. We can't buy a protective coat for some of these things. We can't wear a helmet for some of these things. We can't breathe air out of a bottle for some of these things. But there are things coming that are going to require our attention. And unless we keep it a priority, we can take a lot of that stuff for granted, which is kind of the history of the fire service. It's too much of that, too much of acceptance of that's just the job. Doesn't have to be. Some of it is. Some of it is we're ignorant, we don't know, and we go help people in whatever their situation is. And that is what our mission is. That is what is in our hearts, as mentioned before. So think about your loved one often. Ask them for guidance and help and comfort. And then smile and tell them thank you.
Thank you, Chief Beck. We appreciate that, and we appreciate all your years of dedicated service to the Mesa Fire Department. So with that, we are concluding our ceremony for this morning. We do want to thank the families of the fallen for being here and helping us honor your loved one. I'd also just like to thank all the speakers and also the honor guard and the pipe and drums for their performance this morning again. I would just invite any of you, if you haven't already, please stop by the table located over to the side to see what the plans are for this memorial park and ways that you can contribute to that. So with that, we'll conclude our ceremony. Thank you for being here and have a great day.